You know, over the years, I've made quite a few Whatever Happened To videos, and I've got to say, this one, my friends, might be the craziest one ever. Lisa Loring's life has been one heck of a wild ride, but before I share the details, let me introduce myself. Hi folks, my name is Dave Sundstrom, and I like to think of myself as something of a pop culture historian, especially when it comes to music, movies, and television. Simply put, I love talking about this stuff. So with that said, let's get rolling. There it is, The Addams Family. You know, that show was only on ABC for 2 short years, but more than a half century later, we're still talking about it. One of the reasons that it was so great was the casting. Dare I say it was perfect? Yes, I do.
Once each week, the Addams Family open their home and invite you to join their Addams world.
Father, it was terrible. They killed him. The dragon.
What dragon? Who killed the dragon?
A knight in shining armor.
Let me see that. Grimm's Fairy Tales. What a lovely name, Grimm. How could he write such terrible stories?
See The Addams Family, starring Carolyn Jones and John Astin. It's a different twist you'll enjoy every week on ABC.
Lisa played Wednesday Addams, the youngest member of that crazy family. Despite her strange behavior, Wednesday really was a sweet-natured girl on the show. Of course, there was that headless doll that she played with. Nothing to worry about, right? After the Addams Family ended its run, Lisa was cast in another show called The Pruitts of Southampton, which starred Phyllis Diller and Richard Deacon, 2 very funny people. However, it would seem that the show wasn't all that great because it wasn't on the air for that long, and truthfully, no one's talking about that one anymore. Alright, now I know I promised everyone a crazy ride, and here's where it all kind of starts. Think about everything I've said up to this point as that very first part of a roller coaster ride where you're slowly climbing. Now here we go. When Lisa was just 15, she got pregnant. You heard me right, just 15 years old. And yes, a marriage did follow. It only lasted a year if I remember correctly, and I don't think there is any need to go into the details about husband number 1. Let's just say that Lisa did her best to move on, which wasn't easy when you are juggling a career in Hollywood with motherhood. But you know what? She did. She was able to, and during the early 80s, Lisa landed a gig on the CBS soap opera As the World Turns, where she played a beautiful troublemaker named Cricket Montgomery. The character was popular enough that she continued to work on that show from 1981 to 1984. And while she was on that show, she met and fell in love with another soap opera star, Doug Stevenson. Lisa had a child with Doug, but unfortunately, their marriage only lasted a couple of years. After As the World Turns, Lisa found work on B-movie horror films like Blood Frenzy and Iced. I can't help but notice that in Iced, Lisa was reunited with her ex-husband Doug. That had to be an interesting experience. Or maybe it wasn't. There are those people who seem to get along better when they're not married. Anyway, after making these flicks, work might have dried up just a bit because the next thing you know, Lisa is working as a makeup artist on an adult movie called Tracy's Big Trick. It's important to mention this little foray into the adult film industry because it's where she met husband number 3, a guy named Jerry Butler. Apparently he was a pretty big deal in those kind of films during the late 80s and early 90s. However, after Lisa and Jerry tied the knot, Lisa really struggled with Jerry's line of work and encouraged him to do something different. Jerry, however, really struggled with that request. Truth be told, the man appeared to really love his work. Anyway, around this time, Lisa and Jerry showed up on a number of talk shows to discuss all of their trials. Shows like Sally Jessy Raphael and Geraldo.
Little Wednesday from TV's The Addams Family is all grown up and married to a porn star.
We had an agreement that he would not, absolutely not continue doing porno movies. I found out about 8 months after we were married that he'd been doing them behind my back.
It wasn't easy just learning how to give myself to one particular person.
Despite their troubles, Lisa's marriage to Jerry turned out to be her longest, half a decade. You know, the thing I love about this lady is it's clear that she believes in the institution of marriage. Why else would she get married a 4th time? Details aren't really necessary here because this one ended up in divorce as well, but it lasted over 10 years before it ended in 2014. You know what? I think marriage number 5 might be the one to finally stick. These days, Lisa enjoys connecting with fans at various pop culture and other nostalgia-based conventions. By all reports, she is one of the most friendly and kind celebrities you could ever visit with, and it really does seem like she enjoys doing these things. And if you ask me, she should. Because the truth is, Lisa's life has been full of ups and downs, including a battle with drug addiction. But here she is, not just surviving, but thriving and living her best life. Without a doubt, this woman is a survivor. And a heck of an optimist, too. Go find husband number 5, Lisa. You deserve that happy ending. Alright, now it's your turn. Please share your memories in the comments section. And while you're at it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. I talk about music, movies, and mostly TV from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.